Hello and welcome. I'm your host, William Lou. You're listening to the Raptors Reaction Podcast presented by Betway for all your sports betting activities. Hit the QR code that you see here on the screen and or follow the link you see in the description of the episode. Raptors lose tonight 105-102 in Portland against a Blazers team that has really played well in the second half of the season. Got to give them credit. And I think you saw a lot of that talent tonight on display. Donovan Clingan, I thought he was just tremendous. I mean, that's one of the biggest players in the NBA, like, period. I feel like he's like Embiid size, man. That guy's gigantic. He had a really good game, and ultimately he had a key offensive rebound there to make it a 2-possession game towards the end and a number of defensive stops. You'd also saw the Blazers knock down a whole bunch of threes in the fourth quarter, and that kind of pushed them over the top here. The Raptors actually gave themselves a chance to potentially at least force overtime when Jamison Battle ran up the court and knocked down a three to quickly make it a 1-point game. At that point, the Raptors fouled. Took a very long time to foul, I might add. But, I don't think that's tanking. I think they just tried to play for the steal at first. Blazers went to the foul line, knocked down both. Now it's a 3-point game, and Toronto has an opportunity there to use their last timeout to draw up something. Unfortunately, it took Jamison Battle to commit that intentional foul. So he actually fouled out on that play, because otherwise I feel like the play was for sure going back straight to Jamison. And instead, the Raptors had their tank lineup out there to potentially try to get something. That's Colin Castleton, that's Orlando Robinson, AJ Lawson, and Garrett Temple and Ochai Agbaji were the 5 that were on the floor for that final possession there, which, obviously is not what they would typically do if they had, intentions of winning this game. But regardless, very hard fought game. They had first opportunity. They barely kind of got the ball in, and then they try to run their play, and ultimately Garrett Temple gets intentionally fouled, which is smart. The Blazers had one to give, so the Raptors had to reset. No timeouts this time. The Raptors once again run the same inbound play, but just on the other side of the floor. The Blazers did a good job defending it once again. Garrett Temple was very open at just basically the closest to the inbounder. Like, it was going to be a very short pass. But the pass was not made there by Colin Castleton. Instead, he threw it over the top to Orlando Robinson, who was wide open for 3. And it looked like for a moment, I was like, wow, this guy is going to get a chance. Pretty open 3. And honestly, in that sort of scenario, it's like, if anyone gets an open 3, you're pretty happy with it. And unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, depending on sort of which side of this whole ongoing tank you sort of fall upon, Matisse Thybulle with an incredible help side block, rotating over. Orlando obviously does have a bit of a slow release, but he kind of thought he was wide open. It looked like he was wide open, and Matisse Thybulle, who had just come back from injury, came out of nowhere to block him, and unfortunately, the Raptors were not able to hold on to this game. The Raptors had actually led for the majority of this game, built up multiple double-digit leads, and at certain points looked like they were going to threaten to run away with it. It wasn't really even like that good of play from the Blazers to sort of come back. The Raptors just fell into stretches there where they became very lackadaisical. At first, the Raptors had a double-digit lead in the first half, and then Blazers went to zone. The Raptors, who have done pretty well against zone all season, they started slowing down their offense, and they couldn't really get into any sort of rhythm, and that ultimately helped the Blazers protect the rim and also go in the other way and hit a bunch of threes in transition. So that actually made it a tie game at halftime, despite the Raptors having an early lead. And then the Raptors once again built up the lead once again, but they had a whole bunch of turnovers to end the third quarter, which once again allowed the Blazers to cut back in. The Raptors bumped the lead again. And then, of course, the Raptors finally did what they've been doing recently, which is to pull away the most important players about midway to early in the fourth quarter. It depends, obviously. Like Darko basically, it's still up to him in terms of how to manage it. But basically, he's got to pull the shoot at some point. And this time, he had Jakob and Scottie out there for the start of the fourth quarter. But, he pulled Jakob, and a couple of minutes later, he pulled Scottie. And, of course, down the stretch, you got the result you kind of, wanted, which is that the Raptors competed hard. They fought hard. They played really well. Honestly, played well enough to win because, again, they built multiple double-digit leads, but ultimately they end up losing. And, again, like, Portland's actually pretty good. I think this is one of the things is just like, if the Raptors were in a normal tanking year, I think all these half measures would be perfectly fine. Like, I think if you rest some of your main players, and you're also, suffering some injuries, and then you also then pull your most important players, like, early in the fourth quarter, that's usually enough to beat most teams. But the Raptors this season have come across so many of these tanking teams that are tanking as much or if not worse than Toronto is. And so, that whole stuff doesn't really work against, like, Utah, which the Raptors have beat twice now, or that game against Washington. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work. You can even throw whoever you want, and they'll probably still win against the Philadelphia 76ers, for example. I mean, when they tried it against Orlando, that was more embarrassing because Orlando's trying to win, but the fact is that they're playing like a tank-level opponent of late. Although, I have to say, they did snap Cleveland's 15-game winning streak, their second 15-game winning streak of the season, which is nuts. But, yeah, they did beat them, so good for Orlando. But ultimately, they fell to the Raptors as well. So, I mean, ultimately, this game was really hard fought. The Raptors played really well, and it's kind of like an ideal game for this time of year in terms of what you want to actually see and what you actually get to actually appreciate too. Because I just don't like the idea of, like, playing a whole game, watching a whole game, and taking nothing away from it. Like, I actually do want to see some exciting elements from the game, whether that's development or whether that's just, like, straight up good play in general before obviously the Raptors pull the shoot. And I think for me, it's got to start with Jakob Poeltl. I mean, Jakob Poeltl, Scottie Barnes are the two standouts for me in this game. Clear cut. Jamal Shead probably was the third. Those are your 3 stars if we want to go ahead of time. But Jakob Poeltl, man, 25 minutes tonight, 19 points, 8 rebounds, including 5 offensive, 3 assists, 2 steals. And the funniest part, and probably the most shocking part about the whole box score for Jakob, is the fact that he made a 3. And it was not like a heave from half court. It was not like a late clock, someone's got to get a shot up, and Yak ends up throwing up a 3. It was an intentionally designed play on the first play of the game. And this is how you do it right, okay? First play of the game, obviously Jakob has not taken a 3 all season, basically. So, there's no way the other team sees it coming. They run their usual offense at the top with, like, Scottie and Jamal Shead, so that's your point guard and your star player. It's like, okay, those guys playing together, that's pretty normal. And they get Scottie the ball in the high post, and Ochai is in the same corner as Jakob, but Ochai goes to set a screen on Donovan Clingan, who is, again, just like, he's trying to be in the paint, protecting the paint. And Scottie whips the pass into the corner to Jakob. And again, like, this was a fully designed play on the first possession of the game. And Jakob Poeltl threw up the 3. It was not necessarily a one-handed 3. Like, it kind of looked more normal of a jumper, because obviously Jakob is a one-handed free throw shooter. He's got great touch on that floater. So I thought he was going to do a one-hand from the 3, which would be kind of nuts. He did kind of go for a regular jumper kind of style. But, yeah, I think it hit long, and then it bounced up, and then bounced a couple more times, and it dropped through. And it was just, like, such a great way to begin the game for Toronto. I mean, this was just so funny to watch. It was great to see the reaction of Matt Devlin, who realized in the moment, it was like, yo, this is going to be a special game right here if we begin it right away with a Jakob Poeltl 3. And again, an intentional play where someone's even screening. Great job by Ochai to get the screen off and Scottie to deliver the pass. But, you can do whatever you want. I think Jakob's going to be left open for 3. And for him to knock it down, that was really fun. That was his 1-3 of the game. I was actually low-key hoping that they would sub Jakob back in for the final possession, just another chance to potentially knock down a legendary 3. You begin regulation with a Jakob 3. You end regulation with a Jakob 3 to force OT. Alas, it was not to be. But that was really fun. And over the course of the game, you saw just a lot of Jakob's dominance. I mean, Jakob started the game 4-4 from the field, a bunch of push floaters of various range. He was distributing from the post. I mean, it's just, like, very evident how much he lifts the level of this team. And he comes in and he gives them that stability on both ends of the floor. But even just the offensive presence, man. I mean, the way that Jakob, and it's weird because you never think of developing Jakob because he's, like, 29 years old. And so, you're not thinking about developing him in the way that you're thinking about developing all the other guys. But Darko's whole thing is, like, he wants to develop across the board. And the improvements that we've seen out of Jakob Poeltl this season, not only is this, like, system which puts the ball in the post a lot more as compared to, like, what Nick ran, for example, beforehand, which was almost never when they really, went to the post like that. And if they did, it was with Pascal and Scottie. But the distribution out of that high post with Jakob, playing that pick and roll game with Jakob, the push floater, the extension of his game. I mean, Yak is just like pulling out so many new things this season. I mean, it's definitely been the best season of Yak's career. Of course, it's been unfortunately wasted here on a season where the Raptors have once again choose to tank. But at the same time, Jakob is legitimately showing you a lot. And the one thing I've been wanting to see from Yak all season, and this is probably more joking, but I've wanted to see Yak actually shoot a three. I just want to see what it looks like. I want to see if he has comfort with it. I've seen him work on that three. Like I've actually seen him work on threes in when I go to practices and stuff like that. Like he's in the corners knocking down that exact three. And I was like, is he ever going to pull it out in the game? I believe we had actually tracked this stat earlier this season, and Jakob I think had taken 5 threes, and he made 2 sort of like, one actually was from the corner just like that. I think that was his first or second year. Another one was kind of like a half court buzzer beater kind of thing where you just throw a shot up and he made the shot, so that's great. But like, yeah, I mean, if he's going to work on it, try it out once in a while. And again, if the games are going to be like this down the stretch where they're hoping to lose, then why not? I think for entertainment purposes, that was awesome to see. And of course, Jakob played a really good game. Towards the end of the game, he had a play where he got a steal on the open court. Blazers were trying to push the ball up. Jakob was recovering in transition, got the steal, brought it up, seeing that nobody was stopping him on the break, and took it all the way in for a two-handed dunk, and the entire bench went nuts for Jakob. And I'm so happy for Jakob to have these type of moments, because spread your wings, man. If there's any year for Jakob to go out there and just showcase his whole bag, which is crazy because no one's ever in the history of basketball ever talked about Jakob Poeltl having a bag, but whatever's in that bag, man, that's a one-handed free throws, that's a push shots from like 20 feet out somehow. That's the touch passes from the post. That's the high-low feeds that he throws. That's the corner three now that he's adding. The end-to-end dunk. Give us everything, Jakob. This is great. Plus, especially because like Jakob's gonna play like once a week with all the quote-unquote rest that's gonna be happening. Like, I mean, tomorrow they're playing in Phoenix. I wouldn't be surprised if Scottie and Jakob were rested for that one, or at minimum Jakob. Scottie, I don't know. Maybe he'll play a lot, but. Yeah, I mean, it's been great watching Jakob just cook up in the lab. The other guy I thought was really impressive for Toronto was Scottie Barnes, who, the main reason the Raptors got off to their big lead at the start was just how intense their defense was. They were forcing Portland into missed shots, into turnovers, and Scottie I thought was just a huge part of all of that. He continues to be really disruptive on that end. Scottie ended up with six steals tonight, which is a career high for Scottie. He was very disruptive on the defensive end, very intense as he always is. The Raptors, generally speaking, played a really good game defensively. And a lot of those sequences where there was like a double team on the ball and the guy was just trying to escape it and throw it out. Scottie, I thought, did a really great job anticipating and reading where that sort of kick out was going to be. And he was there, it felt like 2 or 3 times on that exact type of play where somebody was under pressure and looking to give it up, and Scottie was just there reading his mind. And that got him out in the transition a lot. I mean, honestly, it's weird because when you look at this game, it doesn't look like Scottie dominated offensively. And certainly he had a couple of sloppy turnovers towards the end. And again, he was yanked. And Portland played zone. But before all of that, Scottie was just going to the rim over and over and over again, man. Especially that start of the second quarter. The way he was just turning the corner, getting downhill no matter what, and putting guys under the basket was just beautiful to see from Scottie. I mean, it was a bit of a Giannis-esque type of performance from him in terms of that sort of intensity going to the rim. Unfortunately, only finished with 16, 6, and 6 with 6 steals. So that's not even a bad game. But still, it felt like at the start of the game, it was like he was going there so often that this could have looked like a 30-point game for Scottie Barnes. I think, obviously, Portland going to that zone really affected things. It really slowed his momentum and his pace. It also sort of like left the Blazers less exposed in terms of like playing one-on-one defensively because they weren't really communicating all that great at the start of the game. But yeah, Scottie's relentlessness going to the basket was really great, and his just playing center field defensively was fun to watch as well. And then finally, I think Jamal Shead, man. Jamal, 25 minutes tonight, didn't force the shot at all. Only took 3 of 5 from the 3, but took the right 3s, which is why he was efficient. I mean, whether that was like, he works a pick and roll and they try to go under on him, it's like, you got to shoot that 3, and he knocks it down, whether that's, pulling up in transition where he leads the break and he realizes that everyone else is covered but him, and he pulls up for 3 in transition, that sort of momentary lapse in the defense, that was really great. I thought his reads in transition were really good tonight. I mean, 6 assists, no turnovers is a really good mark for anybody, but especially for Jamal, who could sometimes be a little erratic with the way he throws passes. He likes to play really fast, but tonight I thought he was in the right rhythm. He found Ochai, for example, twice in a row to start the third quarter. To help the Raptors build up their lead once again, both in transition, just making the right read, finding him in a shooter's pocket for threes. So I thought Jamal played really well defensively as well as he always does. I mean, there's a number of disruptions, a number of deflections. There was one play where he got a deflection with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. That's basically a stop, right? Yes, they got to reset, but with 2 seconds left, you're not going to execute all that much. He ate a moving screen. I feel like he's kind of downloaded that, I guess he's taken that off of Davion Mitchell, who was obviously one of his vets at the start of the season when the Raptors had Davion, and sometimes Davion was playing over Jamal Shead. But one of the things Davion does really well is just not only sell the moving screen, but make himself in position where he's chasing so hard. He's so attached to his man at the hip that when the screen comes, it physically knocks him over and then leaves something on him. And of course, at that point, it's how you choose to embellish it. But basically, Davion, I thought, was excellent at sort of drawing moving screens. And I felt like Jamal was able to take some of that. And of late, he's been drawing a lot more of those moving screen calls as well. His steals, continues to be, he just continues to be very disruptive defensively. And, I felt like Jamal kind of played a flawless game. Tonight, he was a plus 21 in a game where the Raptors, again, lost by 3 points. So, it goes without saying that Jamal obviously was not on the floor towards the end of the game when the Raptors were trying to get the result that they've been trying to get. Otherwise, Garrett Temple, I know the stat line looks crazy, 1 of 7 from the field. Certainly couldn't get the shots to drop, but I thought he also played really great defense. Him and Jamal for the second unit. Well, I guess Jamal started, but basically those guys play a lot together, especially with those second string guys. And, they kind of just set the intensity for that group. Scottie's obviously done that for the starters. Guys like Colin Castle and Orlando Robinson, they really struggled to finish tonight. Portland's zone and also their size was a real factor. Donovan Clingan, once again, is just one of the biggest players in the entire NBA. And, of course, A.J. Lawson, who has been hot or cold. Tonight he's been really cold because, we've seen him have a stretch there where he had 3 games in a row where he combined for 78 points. He was dominating off the bench and just capitalizing off those kickouts. Tonight he couldn't really get those shots off and convert them in the same degree. I feel like sometimes he was rushing just a little bit. He looked a little bit too eager to shoot at moments, but also at the same time, there's not much scoring at all off that second unit. So I don't exactly mind him taking a couple extra shots, especially when he's been hot. So that's kind of the report from the game itself. Raptors played hard. Defensively, they were really good again. And, ultimately, the mission accomplished. With the tank, I feel like everybody to some degree should be pretty happy with this. But I'm going to get a sense of what's been going on here in our live chat from producer and co-host Alex Wong. What's going on? People can't be angry about this one.
No, people are pretty chill today. Really excited about Jakob Poeltl. Just talking about how Jakob Poeltl is very, very underrated. It's about time that people started appreciating him. Some suggestions of maybe playing Brandon Ingram and making a run to the play-in.
Okay.
And shocking the world.
Shocking the world of, in what sense? Because I feel like people will just be like, oh, the Raptors are here? All right.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what the definition of shocking the world is.
Also, we're 4.5 games back of Chicago, man.
Yeah, there's only 14 games left, I think, right?
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Some new nicknames for Jakob, because we know that we have him as Yaki Chan.
Yaki Chan movies be
yeah, we have
Kagan Aga.
Yeah, all right. Aga Khan Museum. So one of them is I think we've seen this one before. Yakeem the Dream.
Yakeem the Dream. Ooh. I love that, man.
And you know how Shaq was known as Shaq Fu?
Yeah.
So we have Yak Fu. Yeah.
Yak Fu. That sounds too close, like Yak Flu.
So tonight was his Fu game. Yeah.
Yo, by the way, I was watching this game. I don't know. Maybe I guess I haven't. It's always one. There's always one team in the league that I'm like, I wish, when the Raptors play them, I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't really seen much of this team.
Yeah.
And I feel like Portland was that team for me, where it's just all season I haven't necessarily had a good reason to watch Portland.
Yeah, did Jeremy Grant play tonight?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, your
cool,
crusade against Jeremy Grant is still
No,
ongoing.
I just want to know how he's doing because Portland is really like like just you get sent there to Portland to disappear right now in the NBA.
Basically, yeah. I
Like
mean,
when
Portland's a
Matisse
chill
Thybulle
place,
when
though. I actually
Matisse
really like
Thybulle
Portland.
checked when Matisse Thybulle checked in, I was like, oh damn, yeah,
Right, he's here.
like
Yeah,
the
you know what?
vlogger.
Portland is one of those like, oh, he's here type of teams. Like,
Yeah,
that's a good shout for that.
and they somehow have like 4 Canadian players. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, they got a
just
couple
bunch-
Canadians.
just a bunch of
We had
Canadians.
AJ Brampton versus or was it Delano
Oh yeah,
Brampton versus
Delano
Delano
Brampton.
Banton?
Yeah, versus Delano Mississauga. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I guess I haven't watched that many Portland games, but then I watched it and I was just like, bro, like Donovan Clingan looks like like Godzilla in there, man. Why is he so much bigger than everybody on the court? Like,
Yeah,
it was freaking me out, man. As a rookie,
he's huge, man. Yeah.
he's like, I think like the comp for him was like Andrew Bogut.
Yeah.
Like he looks bigger than Bogut, which is kind of nuts to me. But yeah, I mean he's a nice piece. I mean I do wonder what's gonna look like when eventually teams play like spacing centers against him.
Right. You know they call him Kling Kong, right? Yeah.
Kling Kong, yeah, yeah.
Which
Bad mouthfeel on that
it's
one.
really
Kling
bad,
Kong,
but it's
Kling Kong.
it sounds like
Hong
you have
Kong?
to it sounds like you have to
Hong
say
Kong?
it sounds like you have to say it with like a racist
Yeah,
Chinese accent.
they calling him Ching Chong. It's crazy.
Yo, it's like, yo, that's Kling Kong. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. This is good. I like the from Ingrid. I love this Alex Wong AI summary of the chat. I believe actually Google or I guess YouTube actually does offer a function where they summarize what's happening
Oh,
in the
really?
video or whatever. Yeah.
It's like Pat Delaney is under fire again tonight from the chat.
Oh, not this. Samurai Yak. Yeah.
Samurai Yak. The problem is the word yak is just hard to like make a good nickname.
What,
Like,
what do you mean? Yaki Chan is elite, man.
No, it's like I don't know, man. It's just like not a good word. It means throwing up. No. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. At least back in my day. I don't know what you guys call it now. These days, when you go out, have too many drinks, and throw up. Yeah. What do people call that now?
Yeah, it's probably just puking.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think generationally I don't think throwing up is one of those words where generationally you need a new one for every.
But I feel like there's new slang for everything these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
The banter is slowing down.
Put something on it. I sell ice in the winter. I sell fire in hell. I am a hustler, baby. I'll sell water to a well. I was born to get cake. Move on and switch states. Capped a coupe with a roof gone and switch plates. Never dictate, never follow orders. Dick face, get your shit straight. Fuck all this is Big J.
Wow.
Damn.
A couple swear words, man. I'm
Yeah.
gonna put that explicit on the podcast, man.
Yikes! Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop playing that, Alex. So what's that? Sorry.
No, it is one of the worst things I've ever heard. So like, I just feel like that needs to be cool.
Annoying.
That just has to be said. I feel like we got to reset the vibes after that one, man. We got to hit him with it. All right.
We're gonna get to the questions.
Let's get to
Not a lot of questions today. Warning. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we always have your six pack to fall back on, but it's time now for the Tangerine fan inbox, and we wanted to let you know that Tangerine is the official bank of the Toronto Raptors, an official partner of WNBA Canada and NBA Canada. And of course, they're not just fans of basketball; they're fans of basketball. They're fans of fans who stand 5 inches from the TV all night. Fans of fans who have their own nickname for each guy in the starting five. Or fans who can recreate every player's layup package while sitting on their couch. And if you're hearing this, there's no doubting your commitment. Fans like you are the heart of what makes this game great. So this year for the Raptors' 30th, Tangerine is turning the spotlight from the court to the stands to celebrate the way the Raptor fans support their team, because this is how we fan. To learn more, visit tangerine.ca/basketball. Alex Wong, what are the people asking about here?
This is what we're asking today, man. Out of Jared Roden, Ulrich Chomche, and AJ Lawson, which of the two ways make it to next season?
I think Chomche is definitely going to get a chance to continue with the Raptors. I think we would have actually seen a lot of Ulrich down the stretch. That probably was their ace in the hole in terms of tanking wise. I think they were gonna play a lot of Ulrich, and I think that his inexperience was probably gonna help the Raptors' initiatives on that front. But the Raptors are certainly very excited and very invested in him. We've heard that reiterated several times here. Between those other two, in terms of Jared Rhoden and AJ Lawson, I mean, none of them actually have a contract going forward for next year. I think that's probably where, towards the end of the season, it's a good competition here between the two of them. I find it a little bit interesting that both of them are shooting guards, and they both look okay. Like, there's not like a reason to, like, for example, to give up on AJ Lawson, who can be hot and cold, but some of the peaks have been pretty good of late. Certainly is a guy with length, certainly a guy who can knock down the three. I think Jared Rhoden has a stronger body, but doesn't necessarily shoot the three as well. But I mean, I would be cool with sort of keeping both of them. But the thing is, the Raptors' weakness is not on the wing. I mean, the only reason they're getting so many minutes right now is because the Raps are, one, tanking, and number two, they have a lot of injuries to that position, whether that was Ochai Agbaji, who was able to make his return to the lineup tonight, or Jamison Battle, had his nose broken for a while, and then Grady Dick's been out for a while, Jacoby Walter's been out. So I actually think their depth at the shooting guard isn't as much of a weakness, so much as those bigs. And I feel like, between Orlando Robinson and Colin Castleton, who did get a second 10-day contract to Colin, so congratulations to him. He's certainly earned it. He's played pretty well. But I feel like I would rather sort of give that last spot to a big more than anything else. But I mean, honestly, all these guys have shown out. That's the thing. I feel like out of all of them, AJ's probably slightly ahead. The Raptors did sign AJ first, at least in terms of a two-way this season. So if I had to guess, he's probably in the lead. But
nice.
Yeah.
Another question about players returning next season. Will Garrett Temple be here next year?
So I actually have a bit of reporting on that front. Last time I talked to Garrett, I was asking a bunch of questions just about Brandon Ingram and sort of who Brandon is, both as a player, but more importantly as a teammate, as a worker. Garrett had played with Brandon in New Orleans. And so, Garrett had a lot of really glowing things to say. I don't think he was just gassing him up too. I think he was really, really insightful in terms of what Brandon's going to bring as a worker, as somebody who can, he even admitted there's things that he can do even better, but in Darko's system where it encourages to be more off ball, I think that can bring a higher level out of Brandon in terms of getting more to the foul line, getting more to the cup, and even shooting more from three, and just learning in general how to be better off the ball. But then at the end of that, session where I was talking to Gerald, I was like, "So Gerald, man, you're gonna play one more year or what?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna be. I got one more in me, like Vince Carter." So hopefully, Garrett stays to that decision, and he does indeed come back for one more year. I feel like what's been really one of the most fun parts about watching this last week of basketball is seeing a lot of Garrett Temple. And I know this sounds kind of crazy because it's let's be real. No one's necessarily doing that, but he's played really well. And I feel like, especially on the defensive end, he's really shown an ability to still get stops, still outthink the game. I think it really reveals to you how much your basketball IQ factors in to sort of how a player is able to operate and play. Certainly there's small moments where he looks physically overwhelmed. I feel like that happens more on offense than defense, but defensively he's done a really good job of getting stops. There was even moments where I recorded him getting 3 or 4 stops in a row, and it's on players that are going to be really good, like Shaden Sharp, certainly a very promising player. Scoot Henderson, who didn't look good today, but has had a pretty good season overall. In his sophomore year after being picked 3rd overall, guys like that, but they couldn't really do anything with Garrett. And I feel I think it's just it kind of it's very different from Garrett to LeBron, but sometimes when I watch LeBron now, LeBron still has the physicality and the skill set to do whatever he wants, drop a 30-point triple-double.
No way you're trying to compare Garrett to LeBron.
No, but I feel most of LeBron's success now is just him outthinking people, knowing where to be every single time defensively, and almost reading people's minds, and cutting people off and getting the rebound at the right time and making the right passes. It's just it gives you appreciation of basketball IQ. Is all I'm trying to say.
So you're saying when we watch Garrett, we should not take Garrett Temple for granted. We should appreciate greatness. Yeah,
I feel I'm appreciating the greatness, man, because I have a lot of Garrett Temple notes basically, because obviously I take notes on every game. There's a lot of Garrett Temple in my notes right now.
Let's send this clip to Garrett's agent. Garrett, we're coming for you to land you on the pod next season.
Yo, Garrett, I got one more in me, man. Come on, man, let's do it.
You don't understand the Garrett Temple free agency push in the podcast space. It's It's great stories there.
He's a hot commodity in the
He
pod
is a
space,
hot
man.
commodity. Next up, would you rather watch the Raps blow the tank and make the play in, or watch that woman rap again?
God. Who is that woman? Like, is that like her thing? Is that her steez? Like,
We're not sure. Yeah.
okay.
Just Ennis Esmer sent me that
Yeah.
that video. So
How often do you watch that video besides like on the pod here and everyone watch the video?
I watched it about like 30 times in a row the first night it was sent to me.
That's kind of insane, man.
Yeah.
Can we get you to rap it as well?
I mean, yeah, but not like right now.
Okay.
You know, I get shy when I get asked to do things live.
That's the point, man. You in entertainment.
I'm real shy after you read my most personal letterbox.
Oh
Reviews, yeah, at Stephen LeBron.
Hey, by the way, those are really good. But we can't go back to that every single time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please no rapping, Alex. You guys don't understand. Alex can really rap, man.
Shows a DJ.
Alex got bars, man. You guys didn't check out season 1 of Raptor Show? You know?
Oh my god.
Fireworks.
What's the next
Popeyes just changed everything.
What's the next question here?
I wonder how life without it would go.
Why doesn't Darko sit the starters earlier? What's the point of playing them any fourth quarter minutes?
Yo, because it's fun, man. Because it's fun to watch the Raptors play well. I do think that. So, I think on the macro level, certainly that's management saying that, like, look, we're gonna implement some rest, which I don't think is really within Darko's control. That's all medical. We're gonna implement rest, and in general, we want you to find ways to stay competitive but lose the game. And I think it's like in the micro sense is. That's within the game. Darko's got to figure out ways to be like, okay, we're going to push them. We're going to play hard. We're going to get a lead. It feels like the last month straight, the Raptors have had a lead holding in the fourth quarter. Like, when was the last time the Raptors actually got blown out or they actually weren't in the game?
No, I feel like the Raptors have they've played an extended stretch of just almost similar games.
Yeah, every game is the same. They're like, all right, we're probably going to tank tonight. Oh, look at the injury lineup. It's all terrible. And then boom, the Raptors have a lead in the fourth quarter. And then they throw in all their third stringers. But I think, yeah, in terms of how they're actually going to lose within the game, I think that's actually a decision for Darko. And I think it's such a hard thing for him because he's clearly getting through to the guys. You know what I mean? He's clearly, when you see Orlando Robinson's in the high post and he's diming up AJ Lawson cutting to the basket, like it's, Jakob diming up Scottie cutting to the basket in the first quarter. It's like, oh, that's great coaching because he's put in a system that works. And then even if you plug and play new players into that system, they're still able to execute and still able to beat teams or create advantages for the players on their own team. That's that is huge. That's actually signs of good coaching. That's signs of the players actually playing hard, which is all the things that you wanted to see down the stretch. The thing is, he just has to not get too excited and find a way to kill all that in the fourth quarter, which is very, very weird. It's just genuinely very weird. For him to do his job well, he has to, number one, help the Raptors win, and then number two, help the Raptors lose, which is just, again, the tanking thing is just it's so strange in terms of it completely, it makes it so hard to sort of hit both objectives, right? You want to use this time meaningfully for development, which he's doing, while also losing. So, you know what I mean? This is kind of this is kind of what he has to do. So, I mean, I guess that's more on Darko than anything else in terms of when to actually pull the guys.
I thought Coco made a good point here saying that tanking is an acquired skill. And I do think the Raptors are slowly, finally, probably too late, getting better at it.
Yeah, well,
I feel like there was a lot of games where they were just kind of in between, weren't really making up their minds on things.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they have a slightly better strategy on things now. Granted, they've also played just a lot of terrible teams.
Well, I mean, if they want to be good again next year, they actually have to have some sort of base or foundation to build off of, right? Mm-hmm. This is very different than the worst part of the season was around in that Christmas break period when the Raptors lost by, they gave up 155 in Memphis. Darko crashed out in the fourth quarter trying to get them to, basically spark the team. Didn't really do anything. Next game, they come home against Atlanta. They set a record for turnovers at home with 30. How do you have 30 turnovers? And then the following game, which I believe was on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, they went to Boston and they lost by 54 points. right? Like that type of losing is elite tanking, but it does nothing for you developmentally and nothing going forward. And so I actually much prefer this style. Like, I mean, I feel like over the course of the season, the team is really gelled in a way that hasn't really been conducive to losing, but the whole point of playing a sport in general is to win. So I'm hoping that this actually just translates well to like momentum going into next season. But part of me does feel like a lot of the players have improved over the course of the years. So that's
Another sentiment
Isn't that
here
the main goal here?
is I don't really want them tanking next season. I don't think they're going to be tanking next season. So you don't think so either, right?
I'll say that if they're tanking next season, something has seriously gone wrong.
Yeah.
Like they've
think,
had a bunch of injuries or players have regressed in some major way.
I think for better or worse, I think the organization's trying to win next season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, hopefully it'll be better product next year. And finally, $50 from Ken.
$50? What, I look like Chelsea Clinton?
I've never seen this color before. You guys are the best thing in Canadian media. Thank you, Ken.
Wow.
We probably have better odds at winning play-in than picking top 4. No? And we want to chip with one lottery pick. Isn't a round of playoff experience more important than picking 6 and not 11? So basically the question is there an argument here for the value of getting into the play-in?
I suppose if you really want to look at it that way, they make some sort of Cinderella run. They bring back Brandon Ingram. He instantly gels with the team, even though he hasn't had training camp or anything. They beat out Chicago, I guess, for that 10th spot, because I think that's probably the most attainable one. We've already seen them play the rest of the teams in the play-in, whether that's Atlanta or Orlando or Miami. Those teams all kind of suck. By the way, Miami's terrible. Miami might be one of the worst teams in the league, period.
Yeah, every time I see a Terry Rozier clip, I understand the investigations.
Yeah, he's definitely the suspect.
Yeah.
And then you go against, I think the part for me is just like this year in particular, you go up against Cleveland or Boston. And I just feel like, even if you can get to that level and you can get, a minimum 4 games of playoff experience, it's not terrible. But at the same time, it just feels like, I don't know. For me, the Raptors are going to, especially if the Raptors are going to tend to be going good in the future, this is a really prime opportunity to add like a top tier talent through the draft this year. And even if you're not adding that talent, you're adding somebody who, will have a lot of value, or maybe if you want to trade the pick, although I really, really doubt the Raptors will actually trade the pick this year. They're going to take their pick. But, it just improves like the asset base of your organization this year if you actually get that pick. So,
but what about getting through the play-in and seeing Tristan Thompson in the first round and getting some revenge for Darko?
I feel like the only way Jakob would get more popular if he punched Tristan Thompson.
This would be so uncharacteristic of Jakob.
Well,
imagine if Jakob just became Isaiah Stewart.
Well, you saw Jakob like him and like Donovan Clingan was pushing guys around a lot today. He had a couple of shoving matches, and one of them was with Jakob, which I thought was very funny.
I can't picture Jakob getting into like a full scrap. Although I know he would stand up for his
scrap
teammates.
up Poeltl. Wow,
No,
well, if you guys want to see Jakob in a fight, it's just like this. Yaki Chan, baby. He would legit live up to the Yaki Chan name.
My God.
If he did do that. But look, I know there's definitely excitement. I think the Raptors playing well of late is like a real encouraging sign. It does feel weird that like, it's almost like looking at the Raptors win right now is like, when you're a kid and it's like early December and you start to see like presents start to appear under the tree, but you just have to look at it.
Never really had that.
Wow,
up,
dude.
so, yeah.
There's no way you.
I get it.
It's
Christmas. You're talking about
Christmas, man. We're talking
when
about
people had happy
Christmas,
like families get together and stuff.
Yeah, we're talking about Joyous Noel or Nerlens Noel, but like we you start to see the presents under the tree and you're just like, what could that be? You know what I mean? But I gotta wait till the 25th. In this case, the 25th is of October of this 2025-2026 season.
Sure. Yeah. That one didn't work for me.
Damn.
$10 from
Ooh.
Conformation. I don't think we will ever see Chris Boucher play in a Raptors uniform again, and I hope he signs with a different team in the offseason. He deserves to be treated better than the way he is. I feel the same way.
This is how you know that there are some real diehard Chris Boucher fans out there, because somebody put in $10 just to say this to the world, man.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way.
That.
I feel the same way. I feel like Chris under the Darko Rajakovic era has not been treated with respect.
Mm.
It was just last year that he came into Portland and single-handedly dragged this team to overtime.
They did do that. I remember that game. It was him and IQ were the ones that were really
hurt
going
himself because he was trying so hard.
Well, he had the putback to force OT, and then he injured himself on that putback. I feel like it is a little hard to sell that to Chris, because I'm just like, okay, so if you're dark when you go to Chris, you're like, okay, look, we're gonna showcase some of the young guys down the stretch, so that's gonna be like, Jameson Battle's gonna get your minutes there. It's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, wait, hold on, what's Garrett Temple doing in the game? It's like, well, Garrett's not gonna help us win, so you know what I mean. So it's like, it's a weird thing. Like, no matter what the reason or what the strategy is, the answer is always don't play Chris somehow. Which
he's the odd man out in like every single scenario.
Yo, he actually is the odd man out. That's his new nickname, man.
Yeah, odd man. Yeah, the odd man.
He's the exception.
Oh God.
No, I feel bad in that sense for Chris, because I feel like he's certainly played really well at times this season. He actually kind of was a big part in like getting the Raptors season turned around in terms of like that mid-January stretch where they started playing really strong. Chris certainly had a lot of great moments in that stretch. At the same time, it's just like, if you were Chris, would you sign up for this again? Like, would you want to re-sign in Toronto? I mean, I did actually talk to Chris earlier this year. There's a video up on our channel if you want to watch that interview with Chris. The last question I did ask him was like, would you want to like stay here in Toronto? And he's basically like, yeah, sure, if the circumstances work out, why not? I love Toronto. I feel like I owe Toronto a lot. And obviously he's comfortable in this organization. His home's here in Toronto, everything like that. But like, if you were Chris and they come to you and they're like, okay, we actually want to bring you back for next year, but there's no guarantees that you're going to be in the rotation even.
No way, man. There? I'm out, man. Like, I think Chris at this point in his career should go to a team that's like more ready to win, and he can come off the bench. Maybe a team that'll guarantee him at least a role where he's playing like 15, 20 minutes a game or something like that. And I think Chris can still find that.
Yeah.
At this point in his career.
I do think that there's something about Chris where he's such an acquired taste, and I feel like he's going to be really appreciated here in Toronto, because as fans, like, he's like the longest tenured Raptor, and I guess we've gone through the ups and downs with Chris to the point where we're like, we know what he is and we trust him, and we kind of love this experience. But, I think for other teams, it'll be like so shocking at first to see like the style of play, sometimes the mistakes, sometimes the highs, the lows, like, you know what I mean? Like it feels, I feel like we're more comfortable with it because we know the ride versus like other teams looking to acquire him. Because I feel like when you're in like one of those contending teams and you're trying to like acquire somebody, it's always like, what can they guarantee you? Like what is like bankable in terms of that one skill? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this one, do you think the Raptors will be investigated for sitting starters in the fourth quarter? Is that a thing, or only when the players sit out with, quote, injuries? Yeah, that's not a thing. That's not a thing.
I mean, Utah pulled the thing where they played, Larry Markkinen in the first half and not the second half, right?
Yep.
So there's standards to this.
There are standards to this for sure. Actually, the only thing I was thinking about today was just like, so I keep noticing that the Raptors, like, when they're in the stretch here where they know they're pretty much not going to play in the fourth quarter, it feels like a lot of them are getting a lot of their production done in a short amount of time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you notice, like Jakob's averages haven't really come down. If he's just giving you 20 points in less time now, or like 16 points in less time now, and Scottie's giving you 16, 6, 6, and 6 in like 25 minutes instead of like 35 minutes. And it does make me think that, like, I do wonder if teams can play like 10, even 11-man rotations, cut everyone's minutes a little bit lower, and then play a system offense where like the level of your play doesn't necessarily rise or drop that much depending on what stars specifically you have on the floor. Right. And you're just able to just like play harder but play shorter amounts of time in minutes.
Well,
What I mean?
you see Memphis do some of that. Like their starters
Yeah,
have really
right.
low minutes.
Memphis, Golden State tried to do that at the start of the year.
Golden State tried to bring back strength in numbers.
Golden State was like, "Yo, but what if I played a lot of Pat Spencer down the stretch?"
Yeah,
It's like, bro,
until Steve Kerr hated his whole team.
Yeah, he's like, "All right, man, go ahead, give me Jimmy Butler now."
Yeah.
But like,
No, I get what you're saying though.
It's
There's
like
certain
Cleveland
teams
has
that
been
can
doing
be
the same
built for
thing.
that, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So all right. You want to hit this 6-pack or what, man?
It's time. It's time for the NBA 6-pack, brought to you by nobody.
Yeah,
it's unsullied by sponsorship. Although it can be sullied. It's
happy to be sullied, man. Happy to be
crazy.
Jared Sullinger here.
That's a crazy drop for you to just say that, but yeah, we'll just I guess I won't play the whole theme song, but we'll just get it going, man.
Yeah,
all right, buddy.
So bootleg 6-pack here.
You got 6 random things that you want to bring to every rap.
We're gonna try to get through this in 6 minutes.
Let's go.
Okay, number 1, the Warriors are now 14-1 with Jimmy Butler. Do you think they're still only the 6th seed right now? But do you think the Warriors have gone from the team you don't want to see in the first round to an actual contender?
Actual contender just feels so strong. I will have to say that they're back to playing what I would describe as Warriors basketball. Like their passing, their ability to turn defense and offense. The way that they look different than most other teams that they play. You know what I mean? Like they don't, like it's not just like the star player gets it every single time and it's like relatively predictable. Like there's always an element of like randomness with the Warriors that makes them so hard to guard. Like I watched that game where it was Golden State versus Sacramento this weekend, and Sacramento basically just decided like we're just gonna deny Steph no matter what. So like they're basically like face guarding Steph, like making sure he can't get to the ball. They were never helping off of Steph, and so Steph was just like, all right, cool, I'll just go set some screens. And every time Steph set a screen, it was a 2-on-1. And the guy who, was his teammate was always freed on that screen. And so it felt like the Warriors had like 40 assists in that game. They just like always were cutting to the rim for dunks. Guys are starting to step up around them too. Like Moses Moody, I feel like has really stepped up his game around.
That's my guy.
That's your guy. Why is he your guy again? Tell that story.
Because we were at the clutch party at All-Star Weekend, and I went up to him, dapped him up, and said, "Huge Warriors fan. Keep it up, man."
Why did you do that?
Just to entertain myself.
This guy was lying for
because I couldn't find you and Jerome. You guys were missing, so
we were separated from the
It was
back?
socially awkward, so that
So
I had
you couldn't
to
find me and Jerome, so you decided to go up to Moses Moody
So I
and tell
was
him
at
you're
the
a Warriors
bar.
fan.
I was at the bar, being like, "Yo, I'll have what Rich Paul is having."
Yeah.
And then I turned around and saw Moses Moody and had to take that opportunity to.
Did he initiate the combo with you, or you initiated?
No. I was like, "Hey, Moses, man, huge Warriors supporter. Wishing you best of luck the rest of the season."
Well, I feel like whatever you did in that dap, it really helped, man. He's been cooking of late. Moses has been playing really well.
Yeah, he got the Stephen LeBron bump.
He legit got a Stephen LeBron bump, man. You've changed a lot of careers in your life, you know that.
Yeah.
Guy Santos has been popping off recently too.
Yeah, the Anderson Varejao clone.
Yeah, he's a Guy. He's a guy.
Yeah.
He's a geezer. He's a
We
geyser.
got a Guy.
No, but and of course Jimmy's like just great.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
in
just
general.
saying, if
Jimmy's
you're-
stats aren't even that crazy. I feel like Jimmy's averaging like 13 points or something with the Warriors, but
Yeah, but just having him there, just I think does change things.
yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, I think that those younger teams like a Houston
Mhm.
or Memphis, like I think those fan bases are kind of shook about seeing Golden State in the first round.
Yeah, I think obviously like the playoffs are always about matchups, but I feel like Warriors would match up really poorly against the Lakers, for example. Right now it doesn't seem like they're going to match up against each other, but like Memphis, the way that they play and the way that they're so sloppy, I feel like I'd actually take Golden State over Memphis right now.
Oh, for sure. Memphis still has not proven themselves to be a trustworthy playoff team.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, actually, every time Memphis goes to the playoffs, it's like, why are you here? Like, how do you play like this and you're here? Houston, I don't care how many wins they get. And I think they got another one recently as well. But I just don't buy that team, man. I'm sorry.
No, Houston's looking
You can't
like
tell me in crunch time it's gonna be like Şengün posting up or it's gonna be Fred launching a three. Like that doesn't scare me as much.
Houston looks like a clear first round out. Like if I'm the Lakers or the Warriors and I can play the seeding game, I'm trying to get into that seeding in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, with all due respect, because like they got the youth, they got athleticism, they got size. It feels like a different guy steps up from every game. There's been a lot of Aaron Holiday, you know.
Yeah, no, that's off the vacation. Yeah. Yeah, so that was number one. Well,
yeah,
that took 6 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah.
Number two, related to the Warriors as well. After the Warriors put away the Knicks this weekend, Draymond Green unveiled his own night celebration, which my friend Moses Moody called the nightmare.
Right. When Steph does it, it's night. When Draymond does it, it's the nightmare.
Yeah. Is Draymond ripping off Steph's celebration worse than me ripping off your six-pack?
Well, I mean, it's not even my six-pack. It's Bill Simmons' six-pack. Like, what do you mean? This is like, you're getting the six-pack third hand, man.
Have you ever, can you name me another scenario where a teammate stole another teammate's celebration in full? Like, I know there's been guys who, like, I know the Lakers recently with Dennis Schroeder, they all started doing and D'Lo started doing the ice in the veins, right?
Yeah.
But like Draymond just straight ripping Steph's signature celebration. Like, have some shame, man.
No, but I kind of like it though, because I feel like Steph gets to be like the polite front man or whatever, you know what I mean? Like he's shaking hands, kissing babies, almost presidential in the way that he operates, and has like universally beloved player.
Yeah.
But like you still need someone to do the dirty work, you know what I mean? It's very similar to like MJ having like Rodman beside him. You know what I mean? And like Draymond is, Rodman-esque, man. Like, his version of like going to Vegas is like going to LeBron's getting drunk with LeBron. Like instead of going hanging out with Carmen Electra, it's just hanging out with LeBron.
Yeah, damn.
But still, you know what I mean? Like every one of those great players needs one of those guys with them. So I kind of like it. I find it so funny, man. I mean, it's so weird because I know people like, I think objectively I can say that Draymond probably isn't a good guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, I feel like
I really didn't appreciate the whole back and forth with Kat, where he went on the podcast,
right?
And basically, without having full information, when Kat was attending a friend's funeral, was saying that he was purposely ducking Jimmy Butler in a game,
which is nuts.
Which, whatever, you get your information wrong, and then refusing to apologize for it.
Who do you get the information from, man? Jimmy Butler?
Yeah,
his teammate.
But he's just known to obviously taunt specific set of guys, and like Kat's one of them, like Rudy Gobert's one of them.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, so that's objectively shitty, and I think it makes it even more shitty when he was confronted about it, and he was like, "Well, I guess you got to listen to the Draymond Green podcast with Baron Davis." Like,
yeah.
Like instead of apologizing, he plugged his pod again.
No, like it's I don't know.
But
man.
Also at the same time, it's like that like hatred, that like whatever, that sort of like passion that drives Draymond to play that hard and go to those extents.
That's just being a bad person.
No, but you know what? It yes and no. I mean, bad person. He hasn't done like bad. Like there's people in the league that have done really bad things.
No, but it's like you compare him to Rodman. Rodman used to just like kick people in the balls and stuff. Well, I guess Draymond does that too.
I guess Draymond hasn't kicked the civilian like he kicked the cameraman.
No, but the cat thing just left like a bad taste in my mouth.
No, but I think this just speaks to like
to apologize.
But this speaks to like the nature of competition. It's like when you're in competition and you're like at whatever level, but obviously at the highest level, especially when everything's magnified. It's like two things can drive you: that drive to be like great, that drive for greatness, that drive to be like the very best, that competitiveness, like the sheer love of like mastering a skill and executing at the highest level against the best competitors. And then the flip side of competitiveness is like it brings out that like nastiness, like who's willing to go the furthest in terms of like doing the craziest shit. Like who wants it the most?
Yeah, who wants it?
And part of who wants it the most, there's a cynical side. There's an optimistic side and there's a cynical side. And Steph for me is the optimistic side. He wants it the most in terms of he wants to master the game. He's obviously mastered jump shots in general. He looks incredible doing it. And so when he hits the night, as a opponent, you're like, damn. But I mean, you got to respect it to some degree. Draymond hits it from the cynical side. It's like he will go lower than anybody else in the league will go.
Yeah, we've seen that.
And that actually does drive greatness. Like I hate to say this, but like as somebody who is closer to Draymond in sports than I am closer to Steph, I actually understand Draymond entirely when he does that kind of stuff.
Man, Draymond cost them a couple championships, man. And like
He
as a
brought them
role
four.
player,
He brought them four, bro. He only cost them one.
No, he pushed KD out, so you hypothetically probably
How many more were they going to win with KD? KD was miserable that year.
No, but like doesn't matter. Like if KD stays, they at least win one.
KD wasn't going to stay. It wasn't like Draymond drove KD out, bro.
Draymond drove KD out. That's
no. The general media drove KD out because nobody's giving KD any credit for the fact that he won 2 Finals MVPs.
And then also the time that he punched LeBron in the balls. Yeah.
He had 35. He had 35 in Game 7. That's all he could really do.
No, bro. It's crazy to think that he could have won MVP in Game 7.
No, I'm just saying. I actually understand Draymond a lot. Trust me, if Draymond was on Raptors, I'd be a huge Draymond stan.
No, man. Yeah. Not a Draymond fan.
Unfortunately, I identify with Draymond. This is terrible.
Number 3, the Grizzlies retired Tony Allen's jersey over the weekend. Is there a Raptors equivalent player that you would like to see retired? So a role player on a very successful era of teams. Mm-hmm. In this case, the Raptors did win a championship. You know, grit and grind Grizzlies did make it to the conference finals. But obviously, Tony Allen's iconic with Mike Conley and Marc Gasol. Can you think of a Raptors equivalent role player who might deserve eventually to get his jersey retired?
So I think the special thing with Tony Allen is he played 7 seasons in Memphis. And all of those were really successful seasons. He, I think, fit the... once again, you're like, when you fit the idea and like when you capture and resonate with the ethos of the city, you know, how like blue collar everything is in Memphis. Like, I feel like Tony Allen really embraced that, you know what I mean? And like, he was therefore embraced by the fan base. The closest one for me, probably Serge.
Yeah, but the tough thing, I think, like you mentioned, is like none of those key role players really spent that much time here.
Yeah, so
like
Tony
even Serge,
seasons in Memphis.
Yeah, even Serge didn't. I feel like didn't
Serge
spend enough.
5 here in Toronto. I had to guess 4 in Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he didn't spend enough seasons here.
But I mean, on the flip side, he did win a championship, or he did contribute to a championship. But I do like this from Memphis because obviously they don't have a championship to celebrate. But I mean, when Mike Conley when he finally retires, he's gonna get his jersey retired. Marc Gasol's got his jersey retired. Tony Allen's got his jersey retired. Zebo's got his jersey retired. Like the whole era of Memphis basketball is up there, and that's by far the most successful era. And I kind of really like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean,
yeah. Someone said our 7 minutes of Heaven King, Norman Powell.
Yeah. Well,
we'd have to make sure his retirement ceremony is also 7 minutes.
I mean,
that would be amazing.
It could be Matt Devlin going through his favorite moments.
I mean,
yeah.
I think there's a way to honor just like the entire 2019 championship team in some way.
I mean, that's what the banner is already up.
Yeah, but it's like just showing some kind of love for the different players and stuff in a way.
I would like that. I think especially for
not
Toronto,
like with jersey retirements, because obviously you're going to be super selective with that.
So what else are you going to do though?
I don't even know. Because
can we raise a banner for just Serge hitting that 3 over Ben Simmons?
I mean, all I know is
one single scarf to the stands for OG and Serge.
All I know is Vince was the perfect guy to be the first jersey to be retired. Yeah,
that's
he was
right.
the perfect guy. Yeah. Number 4. So the Phoenix Suns took another L today. Did you know they haven't won 2 in a row for about 2 months now? It's looking tough. They keep trying to run down the Dallas Mavericks and still can't do it. I think
Phoenix trying to chase down the Dallas Mavericks. It's like the Raptors trying to out-tank these teams. They're like, hey, we'll play Orlando Robinson and Colin Castleton as our twin towers down the stretch, and they're like,
Phoenix just looks miserable. Like every 3 possessions, KD's looking over at Bud like he's about to pull a Latrell Sprewell.
I actually wouldn't put it past KD.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty common knowledge that they're gonna look to trade KD in the summer. It was reported earlier this week that if they put Devin Booker on the trade market, they could receive up to 4 first-round picks and a young star.
Wow.
If you're the Phoenix Suns, would you only trade KD and then rebuild around Devin Booker, or trade both this summer and start a full rebuild?
I will trade both this summer and start a full rebuild.
God, that's so sad to think about all this because they got themselves into a stupid mess with Bradley Beal, who went over the second apron, and now they just have to tear their whole team apart and start.
No, it's so funny because I feel like they paid peak prices for stars. You know what I mean? Like for a while, their stars were going for like so many picks, and so they paid like full peak value for stars. And now when they move into this market where teams are in the second apron era, they're more hesitant in terms of taking on big salaries and this and that. It's like I feel like they can't recoup the same amount that they put in. Now, obviously, Devin Booker is different because they drafted Devin, but it feels like if Devin's going to be traded, it'll probably be to Houston because Houston has control of Phoenix's picks. So they're not even getting extra picks; they're just getting control of their own picks back, which is so embarrassing.
This is kind of what the Nets did, right?
Yeah, with KD, but like
begged for their own picks back.
No, but it's pretty incredible. So I feel like. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know, man. I mean, didn't Mikal Bridges just go for 5? So 4 for Devin Booker sounds. I mean, it depends on who that young star is, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
to be honest, like if they want to replenish the picks, get out of this second apron hell, they'll do it pretty quickly if they trade both.
Yeah. The thing is, it'd be great if they can pivot to like another young player. You know what I mean? Like when the Raptors tore down, it's like, okay, we'll pivot to Scottie because like, okay, that feels good. What is the young player that are pivoting? I mean, they're going to be pivoting to Bradley Beal actually because he'll still be there. But like you look at the lineup that they played tonight, right? They lost to the Lakers, which again, the Lakers don't have LeBron. So like the Lakers aren't exactly at full strength. They're playing a lot of Christian Coloco's getting a lot of minutes lately. Happy for Christian. But like look at who they started, man. Ryan Dunn, Nick Richards, like Mason Plumlee gets significant time. Oso Godaro, like Colin Gillespie saved them one time and one time only because tonight he had 3 points on 1 of 7 shooting with 5 personal fouls. Is like, yeah, they that's the thing. Is like if they tear it down, they're probably going to instantly be one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, but I mean, without tearing it down, they're 11th in the West right now. So
yeah, they should tear it down this summer. But also they have the new owner, and the new owner's like, I'm going to try to compete every year. So it's like, I don't know. I just don't think you should take hardline stances. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're stuck and you have like this hand that you have, like you sometimes you got to fold, man. Like this.
So you would trade both.
Absolutely, I would trade both while they still have value. That too.
Nice. Yeah. Next up, did you read about the Dallas Mavericks potentially having to forfeit games coming up? So what happened is they're running out of players, and they have 2 guys on two ways. Who are running out of eligible games, and I guess because of their cap situation, they're not able to sign more players. So they're going to reach a point where they're not able to dress the league minimum mandated 8 players for a game.
Man.
And that situation will come up by March 24th if their injured players don't come back.
Sometimes if you played a video game long enough, you'll find like a glitch.
Right.
Like that I guess all the testers and all the whatever the developers didn't find.
Yeah.
But it's like for example, I have this like insane FIBA like a file on FIFA where I've created me as a as a footballer.
Yeah.
And I've played like 7 seasons now entirety with Liverpool. So I'm like in 2032 or something.
Yeah.
And then the game just like froze on me.
Right.
Like it literally wouldn't load anymore. I'm just like, oh, okay. I guess I've found the extent to which like this game breaks. The Mavericks have been so mismanaged and then so unfortunate that they found the extent to which the NBA breaks. It's hard because I don't even remember any other scenario where teams had to forfeit.
Dog, I was watching. They said the last time this happened was in 1955.
1955. What happened, man? The Korean War happened. Yeah. They were like, "No, man, sorry."
Yeah, I think half of the Washington Bullets got drafted to Korea.
The Bullets got conscripted. That's crazy. Man.
Like, Korea, or you face Wilt tomorrow.
He's like, yeah.
So the grand conspiracy, because Luka is returning to Dallas for his first game with the Lakers in early April.
Oh my God.
And the grand conspiracy amongst some Mavs fans is that Mavs ownership is so shameless that they're going to forfeit that game so they don't have to deal with the backlash of Luka coming back. Can you imagine if this happens?
Wow.
Like, I feel like at this point, Adam Silver. Well, I mean, this is granted. This is me having spent a lot of time on Mavs Reddit.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you going deep for these 6-packs, man.
Yeah, but like, can you imagine? Like, I feel like Adam Silver would have to step in at this point.
And what? Start at shooting guard? Max
They were
Christie
swings
also... it to Silver for 3. Bang!
Bang! He gets the 11th Mike Breen double bang.
Yo, he better get a double bang if he gets in there, man.
They were saying just dress Anthony Davis and all these guys in the clothes, but don't play them.
Yo, we've seen some like because we've been watching a lot of Tank. Like we've been seeing some of that. Like they did that with Walker Kessler the other game.
Yeah,
Utah did, right?
Well, the funniest thing is I don't even know why I was watching Sixers Mavs today. Quentin Grimes comes back and has a revenge game on them today. 28 points. Like, you know it's bad when even your like secondary trade of Quentin Grimes
that's crazy
was terrible. Because like Grimes has been putting up like what people thought Paul George was gonna do.
Yo, this is actually, I mean, all these Grime 30 balls, I feel like they're fake.
Yeah, they need to be
these are tank 30 balls.
They need to be tank adjusted.
Yeah,
But
which means they're more like 16 points. But still,
like trading Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin somehow being another terrible trade is hilarious.
Yeah, the funny thing is like, so sometimes now when I see like OG, like when the Raptors played the Knicks or when the Raptors played Indiana or when the Raptors play like, I guess Philadelphia when, with Kyle, it's like, I don't even know who they dap up in terms of their former teammates because the team has changed so much.
Right.
So like if we see Pascal, it's like he's only played with Jakob, Chris, and Scottie.
Right.
And I guess Grady for like half a year. Or like with Kyle, when you it's super weird when you see Kyle Harris. Like the only guy that played with Kyle in the Raptors is Chris Boucher, which feels weird.
Yeah, and how many coaches does he really know?
Jama, yeah. Eric Corey, one of the second row assistant staffs.
Right.
Kyle's like dapping up Bobby and Masai. I mean, we actually did see Kyle recently. He came to the screening that we were at. We the North from prehistoric to historic.
Yeah, not available on Crave.
5 stars on Letterboxd, according to Stephen LeBron, who was involved in the project. But and Jakob too, I guess.
Oh yeah. But the Jakob one's weird because like.
Yeah, Kyle was like, "Oh yeah, I remember you as a rookie and nothing else."
Yeah, I remember we traded you to win the championship.
But my point is like, I feel like who is Luka gonna dap up when he comes back to? I guess his triumphant return to Dallas.
I mean, Clay for sure.
Clay,
who got the worst deal of the offseason.
Yeah,
come play for this championship contender.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's running with Spencer Dinwiddie.
Well, he's actually running with Kessler, Edwards, and Brandon Williams tonight.
Yeah, those are the two-way guys who have limited games left. So he'll dap up PJ Washington.
Yeah,
he'll dap up Najee Marshall.
But they only played for like as teammates for like 2 months.
Yo, this is honestly.
Are you dapping up Dwight Powell?
This is honestly just NBA malpractice. It's insane, man.
It's crazy how quickly they drove this team into the ground.
Watching your organization get torn down like this. By the way, the latest fire Nico chance happened at a St. Patty's Day parade in Dallas.
Amazing
this weekend.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, yeah.
Meanwhile, on the Lakers broadcast today, they're like focusing the camera on Rob Pelinka for like 5 minutes, just pure glazing him.
Oh yeah.
The problem is Pelinka and Nico are friends, so like I feel like a part of Pelinka just feels terrible, but it's also just laughing at his friend about this.
It's like he can't actually be too happy about it. Like I feel bad because like Masai couldn't be like super happy about the Kawhi trade, even though that's for sure the best trade of his career.
Right.
And it changed our whole entire franchise.
Yeah. Like
he's like he can't exactly be like cheering out there for it because it's like disrespectful to DeMar.
Right.
This is like the extreme version of that. Where
yeah.
So. The Luka trade way better than the Kawhi trade. No offense, man.
There's no comparison. Lastly, John Cena is gonna make an appearance on Monday Night Raw tomorrow. It'll be his first appearance since turning heel at the Elimination Chamber in Toronto. Does this mean anything to you?
So a couple things. Number one, in this game, when Denny Abdia hit a game like a and one.
Oh yeah, they played John Cena's music and he did the "You Can't See Me."
They played John Cena's music. He did the "You Can't See Me." Donovan Clingan came over, did that as well, and I was like, "Are you guys all big John Cena fans?" Like, that's pretty crazy. Number two, I've been seeing, I guess, some videos of John Cena, and it looked like his bald spot is gone. Like, did he?
Yeah, so he's filming a movie in between these wrestling appearances, and he got clowned a lot when he came back to wrestling because he's got this giant bald spot, and yeah, I guess he got that sprayed in. Yeah.
No, it didn't even look sprayed in. It looked like he was wearing a toupee. Like it was.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The thing is, Cena's been wearing hats like his whole career. So like
wearing hats his whole career.
No, like,
he's like Alex Wong. He's always got his hair.
No, he's got the "You Can't See Me" hat. So like, I don't know why he does. Well, I guess he can't wrestle with the hat.
Yeah.
That's
You
like
can't see me bald spot.
That's like me trying. It'd be funny if he came back with like a Carlos Boozer.
Like, yo, he should.
The Beijing duck.
Yo, he already speaks Chinese too, man.
Anyways, wrestling is back, and John Cena tomorrow is gonna be a big deal.
So, are you gonna have to choose between doing the React Pod after Raptors Suns or watching SmackDown, or what's?
Yeah, so it's not that bad. So right now the WWE is actually in Europe.
Oh, okay.
So it's starting at like 3 in the afternoon.
Oh, so it's like Champions League. Which, by the way, Liverpool had a historically bad week, man.
Yeah, Chad was saying you lost to Newcastle.
Yeah, it wasn't even close, too, man. It was 2-1, but it wasn't close. Like, they dominated us from start to finish.
But you guys are still top of the table, though.
We're top of the table, but honestly, like, it's so weird because one bad week can just absolutely kill you as a franchise.
Who's threatening? Who's threatening in Premier League right now?
This is like Arsenal's still number 2. I mean, they should hold on, but I think that like they crashed out so hard in Champions League. They lost to PSG, who were really good. But then they go into this final. They were super disappointed because they were out really early in Champions League, even though the Liverpool went like undefeated in the group stages. Then everyone was gassing up. They was like, "Oh, this is the best team in Europe." Blah blah blah. And they were playing really well. Like they didn't lose, but like they lose the second leg to PSG in a shootout. And basically like they have this like huge emotional hangover where they barely even showed up for the cup final today. And Newcastle, who like hadn't won a title in like 70 years, it looked like. Yeah, were able to get the win. So yeah, generationally bad week for Liverpool.
Was it at Anfield?
This was at Wembley. Yeah.
Okay.
All the finals are at Wembley for England's competitions.
Yeah. WWE was in Barcelona last week, and who was it?
Yeah,
Lamine Yamal.
Lamine Yamal. Yeah. He's sick, man. You've seen him? You watched the Euros last year, man. He scored. He's young
isn't he like
for Spain.
17?
Yeah, he's 17 years old. Yeah,
that's crazy. What age were you allowed to start? Like, can you be 12 and play in the World Cup?
Actually, I actually don't think there's an age limit.
Really? Like they can just find like a Ronaldinho.
No, because I'm pretty sure there's been like 16-year-olds that have played, for example.
There's got to be like a minimum age, though.
I mean, maybe.
Like is there like an 8-year-old that can just show up?
If he's good enough, I feel like it's fine.
That's insane, man. We need some rules, man. But yeah, all right. John Cena tomorrow.
NBA six-pack. Yeah, you know what? I'm excited, man. What do you think he's gonna do tomorrow, man? What's he supposed to be doing?
He's just gonna cut a promo.
That's
like,
it.
He's gotta like explain himself.
So he's not gonna wrestle nobody or anything?
No, but the crazy thing is like these Europe crowds are like incredible.
Really?
Like it's really comparable to soccer.
Oh, okay.
Because like when you
gonna be singing the John Cena song, but like in tandem, like You'll Never Walk Alone. But
no, they're gonna be booing him like crazy. Because like the fans are obsessed with all these wrestling like intro entrances, and they like know every word to it. They sing it like it's at a soccer match.
Okay, yeah.
Whereas if you watch like a Monday Night Raw in like the US, it's not the same. Yeah. The fans is just like a hooligan energy to it, like a good hooligan energy.
A good hooligan energy. See, like Draymond. Draymond a good hooligan when he does the little night.
No,
that's good hooliganism,
don't stand on Draymond, man.
No. I love that, man. I actually, I don't know. Maybe we just have like collectively got to get over ourselves. Like, stop going to games to be cool. Like, just go have the best time of your life. You know what I mean? Yeah. It feels like that's just like the universal thing. It's like whether that's like basketball over in Europe, you've seen all those videos of like, people jumping up and down at like the Red Star games, for example.
Right.
You know what I mean?
firing like fireworks.
Yeah, there's like fireworks going off, like they're like throwing flares, and it's like Ekpe Udo dunks the ball, and it's like
yeah.
and it's like what?
It's like you go to China, they're just like having hot pot in the stand. It's like what's going on? Like this is a little bit too cultural. Yeah, I don't know. Like the fandom, international fandom, like even baseball, you look at it.
Right,
like
but people go to Japan and are like, "Whoa, the fandom here is like very cool."
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's an experience just to be part of the fandom. Like I've been to South America for soccer matches. Like that thing looked crazy. Like I legit needed police escort for like 3 blocks or like 4 or 5 blocks just to get into the game. Specific entrances. I bought a River Plate shirt. That's the club that I went to see. I bought a River Plate like jersey just so that I could fit in. Then I'm like, what am I doing? I'm Chinese. Like these people are gonna know this guy's a tourist.
Yeah,
they were gonna fight me regardless. But I had to look up which section I'm sitting in, make sure I'm not in like the ultra supporter sections,
right?
Because I'm not ready to throw hands over any of those River Plate players. You know what I mean? Not exactly about to fight over like Enzo Fernandez or whatever, but like I mean like. That's just kind of how it is everywhere else. And I feel like America and Canada, I guess to a lesser extent, is just like it's actually the exception that we don't have like this sort of like crowd experience. That's more or less rare.
Yeah, I feel like you only really get it in North America from like really rabid like NFL fan bases. Some of those stadiums will go crazy. This comment, I went to a movie with some Chinese friends and instead of popcorn, they ate a whole rotisserie chicken. That's insane, man. Like here in Canada? Kitsune, can you confirm this happened in Canada?
I need more details. Let me know more, man.
Yo, because like the thing you gotta understand, like the whiff of a whole rotisserie chicken,
bro, it smells crazy in there.
It's very strong.
Yes,
like you're gonna smell that. Yes, in Toronto, he says. That's insane.
We need more details. Like
what were you watching? Crazy Rich Asians? Portuguese rotisserie chicken, yeah.
Did they have like, was it utensils or were they just ripping the
sneaking in a whole chicken is crazy.
Were they pulling that chicken themselves, man?
Yo, that's crazy. Like
no, I'm crying.
I know people that do that for like baseball games, but God.
No, what do you mean? Who do you know that eats a whole rotisserie chicken at the game?
No, because at baseball games you can bring whatever food.
Yeah, but you could bring like a sandwich or something.
No, but some people bring like a whole like meal and stuff. Yeah,
we have more updates
by hand.
They were eating
they
by
ate
hand.
It by hand. It was rough.
Yo, what movie were you seeing, man? No, but this is the thing is like I actually don't think that this is like a particularly Chinese thing. I think you just caught somebody doing this.
Never in my life have I gone to a movie and said I'm gonna go and grab a whole rotisserie chicken.
Like the closest thing I've done is like Imagine Cinemas at Carlton, Carlton Cinemas. I've I guess I got like a jerk chicken plate and brought it in.
Yeah, that's pretty excessive too.
That's a little excessive. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I think it was. I was watching Get Out actually, and I had a jerk chicken plate in there.
Yo, this guy wanted some flavor.
The funniest thing is you gotta hide it. You know what I mean?
While supporting Jordan Peele, what's wrong with you?
You gotta hide that thing. You're like, oh, me? No, that's you don't smell rice and peas in my bag.
Yo, that's crazy. Kasuni says it was a David Lynch movie. Maybe it was like Mulholland Drive or something.
I'm crying, yo. Here's the thing. You gotta understand that like whether you're choosing to represent or not, if you do something wild in public, you are representing your race. So to whoever did this, you set Chinese people back, man. I'm sorry, you just did it.
No, it's true, man. This is tough, man.
Yeah.
All right. Tough. All right, get awards.
Oh yeah, awards from this game.
Six-pack.
I keep forgetting about the game itself.
Yeah, another 6-pack coming tomorrow.
Another 6-pack coming tomorrow, improbably. And of course, we'll be staying up super late, so we'll have an episode of Hell and Welcome After Dark. Prepare actually your just give us like after dark type questions. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Don't give us like that rated PG type of question. Give us some rated R questions. But anyway, actually, I'm probably going to regret that. I take that back. Never mind. Your 3 stars from tonight's game. What am I saying? Your 3 stars from tonight's game. Jakob Poeltl is your first star. 19-8, 3-2. More importantly, he hit that 3 from the corner. Had the end-to-end dunk looking like Jordan. I can't even say that with a serious face, man. But Jakob was balling. And if I had to guess, he's probably resting tomorrow. Scottie, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 steals. I like the intensity he brought. I love how much he drove to the basket. Him going to the foul line 9 times is always a welcome sign. He was just like taking it in there with force. Like, he was very determined in this game. And then your third star is going to be Jamal Shead. 10 points, 6 assists for Jamal. 3 of 5 from 3. Really got the 3-point shot down, which is great. And yeah, good performance from the Rook. Your Gerald Henderson Award winner, that is going to be Toumani Camara, man. He's Toumani Camara. Sorry. He's you know, you got to be really online. Like, you got to be really on like NBA socials to like sort of know about his season. He's had a breakout season. He's certainly a defensive specialist, but also he can hit the 3 as he showed here tonight. 21 points for the Blazers. Got good size, cuts well, plays with a high IQ. He's certainly very disruptive defensively, and yeah, I mean, he's a quality player. He's one of the big reasons why Portland has actually not turned their season around, because they are 29 and 39, but like, you know, part of the reason why Portland has been so competitive of late. He's yeah, he's one of those guys. If you read Sean Hyken's like you know, Substack, you would know a lot about him. But he's actually had a really good season, and he had a really good game here tonight. If it wasn't him, it's gonna be Donovan Clingan. But I mean, you know, 5 points is still just 5 points. Anyway, that does it for the podcast today. Oh yeah, I forgot. We forgot. We actually got $5 more from Top Shot Tesla. Shouts out once again. Did you call him Modi Mooses? And did I miss any Growy Graham references? Yeah, what happened to Growy Graham? I feel like we kind of killed Growy Graham a little bit.
He hasn't been playing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, Growy Graham was not playing.
He's been. No, I'm not gonna say anything.
What's he been, man?
No, it's fine. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Top Shot Tesla. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Hit a like on the stream on your way out. Make sure you subscribe to the Hello and Welcome podcast channel. That way you will get a notification every time we drop, every time we go live. And, of course, the Raptors go into Phoenix tomorrow. We'll play again tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. So thanks, everyone, for listening. This has been the Hello and Welcome podcast presented by Betway. And, yeah, see you tomorrow night.